She just kept saying, you just need to come home, you need to come home. And I said, I won't come home until you tell me what happened.
Challenges. There's no denying we all have them. These are the stories of ordinary people facing extraordinary challenges and emerging better on the other side. I'm Cheryl Hunter. As a teenager, I was kidnapped and held captive. Today, my mission is to let you know that you are bigger than anything that can ever come your way. Join us for these extraordinary stories and be reminded that your true nature is to rise. What would you do if overnight virtually everything in your world changed? Well, Jana Morgan is about to answer that question. One certainty in life is that we all deal with challenges, but not everybody recovers. And you are an example of somebody who has recovered incredibly well. Would you say something about what you faced?
It was 6 in the morning. I was totally asleep and the home phone rang and I answered it, and it was my mom. And she was in Northern California, I was in Southern California, and she just said, you need to come home, you need to come home right now. And I just kept saying, what happened, and she just kept saying, you just need to come home, you need to come home. And I said, I won't come home until you tell me what happened. And she said, Dad, Jill, and Jeff are all dead. And I just started screaming and crying, and eventually got her to tell me what happened. And they had all three been killed in a car accident the night before. And she waited till 6 in the morning to call me and give me the news and have me fly home and be with her and my other sister. So the three of us were remaining, and half of our family was gone.
How old were you?
I was 27. I had just gotten engaged. I was living in LA, working in entertainment, and thought my life was perfect.
What did you and your mom and your sister do at that point?
My mom and sister and I had all sorts of love and support. Everyone in our community just came in and was there for us, and we just supported one another through it and got up each day and just felt the love from people around us to get us through the next day and the next day and the next day.
Was it a drunk driver?
When we first found out about the car crash, we did not know that it was a drunk driver. We just knew that there was a head-on collision, and it wasn't until the police investigated that we got the news that it was a drunk driver, which made it a lot harder to process and accept.
Did your remaining family choose to pursue legal action?
My mom and sister and I were all part of the grand jury process where we presented our victim impact statements and told them what we've been through and how it's affected our lives. And he was sentenced to jail and is still in jail for second-degree murder.
Did the verdict provide any resolution for you?
The verdict itself did not help me feel any better. What was helpful was being able to stand up in front of a courtroom, and we showed pictures of my brother, who was, a little boy, and to say this was him and talk about him and talk about the dreams that we had for him that were gone. And we had pictures of my sister. She was an all-American runner, and we showed video of her running. We showed my dad, he was only 52, and all the things that he did to help the schools in our community. So the healing process of honoring their lives and talking about them and saying these aren't just numbers, these are people whose lives are over because of someone making a bad choice. That's what was helpful.
In my experience, in working with people who've gone through challenges over the years, I see that many people just never recover. They experience a challenge and can't get righted from it. What did you do, you and your family that remained? How on earth did you turn this around?
The first morning I flew up, I was with my mom and my sister, and when we had to get up in the morning, we all slept in one bed, and my mom said, we have to get up, this is what they would want. And we just got up and kept focusing on what would they want us to do with this. Would they want us to sit around and ruin our lives, or would they want us to take this and go do something with it? And so it honestly wasn't even a question. It was just like, this is what my dad want me to do. Get up, go, make something of my life. And so it really was just remembering who they were and what they would want for us that gave us the power to do it.
What was your darkest hour?
It really, for me, I had gotten engaged right before this happened, and trying to make the choice of, do I have a wedding and walk down an aisle without my dad? Can I do that? Is this something that is even possible? And the thought that if I don't do it, I'll regret it. And if I do it, it's going to be the hardest thing I ever do. So it was just that moment of contemplating and trying to make that decision, and ultimately decided that I'm going to do this. And I had every friend of my dad's, my grandpa, everyone wanting to walk me down the aisle, and I just couldn't do that. I couldn't take that away from my dad. So I just said, no, I don't want anyone to walk me down the aisle. That's my dad's job. And so that was the hardest.
How do you honor their memory now?
I talk about them a lot. I talk about them with my children. I talk about them with people I meet. I talk about them with the students in my classroom. Like, they are just part of my life, and I make it so that they're still around me, because they're not forgotten. They are just part of who I am. My kids never got to meet their grandpa, but they talk about him and they say, Grandpa would like this, and they know who he is.
In what way do you see, having gone through the challenge that you and your family did, how does it impact who you are today?
Going through something that completely pulled the rug out from under me has helped me learn that nothing is that important that I used to worry about. Nothing that kept me up at night, that stressed me out, matters. All that matters is that I can be healthy and loving to people. So that's what I do. And when kids have parents that are stressed out in first grade about grades, I'm just like, oh my gosh, there's bigger things in life. People, enjoy your little ones. Give them a hug, take them to the park. That's what matters. So I kind of work my way with the kids to help them take pressure off themselves. And then with the parents, I spend a lot of time telling them to just let their kids be and just enjoy them, because you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen.
Now, you talked about teaching.
Oh my gosh.
Tell me about this journey.
So I'm a first grade teacher to the funniest little kids on the planet. They make me laugh. They come in every day and they want to tell me stories and talk about what they did the night before. And their love is just phenomenal. I see it as my job is to let them know that they are awesome and that they don't have to be perfect, and that whatever they do is exactly what they're supposed to be doing. So, they can do a math problem and they get it wrong, and I go, high five, yay, you gave it a shot. Let's do this again. And, there's no need to be perfect. There's no need to put pressure on yourself. You just got to do your best. So that's what I see as my job with them.
Now, you mentioned originally, when you got the phone call, you were working in the entertainment business, and then you're a teacher now. How did that happen?
Yeah, I worked in entertainment for 20 years, and I enjoyed it, and I had fun, but I didn't feel that I was impacting anyone. I didn't feel that with what I was doing, I was making a difference. And so I did a complete shift. I went and got my teaching credential and started teaching, and it is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. I get to just change their experience. They come in sometimes crying, they're upset, stuff's hard at home, and for those hours that they're with me, I'm there to make them happy and let them know they're loved.
Jana, you said something once about being a teacher and how that honors your family. Tell me about that.
So for me, I have a teaching family. My grandpa was a principal. A lot of, my grandma was a teacher. My mom was a teacher. To be able to continue what they have instilled in people's lives, and then for me to be able to do it in young kids, it's just carrying on the tradition of my family and being able to take what my dad taught me and teach it to these little kids that are in front of me. It's keeping his messages alive.
Jana, thank you for being here and for being a role model and an example of how we can overcome. Thank you for sharing your story and for honoring their legacy.
Thank you, Cheryl. Thanks for having me.
Jana Morgan changed her life 180 degrees after that fateful day. She went from being a reality show producer to being an educator, because to her, that honored those who had gone before her, that she loved and missed so much. In doing so, she was able to stay true to her own purpose and values and give herself a life full of meaning.